What's up, y'all?
What's up, Buck? Let's just deal with the elephant in the room first.
Yeah.
Just what were your immediate reactions to Anthony's benching, and just what do you think? How do you think this will play out going forward? I guess.
Yeah. Obviously, it's tough when it comes to situations like that. You know what I mean? And obviously, there's a lot of thinking that goes into it and discussion. And all we can do as a team is, obviously, like I let AR know that, besides, despite the situation, the guy's always got his back. You know what I'm saying? And we're always here, for him. And I just told him that, we got to use this moment as a growth experience and continue to develop as a quarterback and a leader. And also, just don't let this moment define him as a player, as a person. It's here for him to develop. And it's going to help him shape into the person he's meant to be.
Well, you've been through a lot of changes here, especially a quarterback. How do you feel about the direction of this team going forward?
No, it's always adversity throughout a season, and definitely it's a quarterback carousel. But the guys are ready to rally behind Joe. Whoever it is, and that's taking the snaps and behind center, we're always going to have their back.
Were you surprised?
Like everybody else, you know what I mean? You obviously didn't expect it to come, but, you just got to, obviously, Shane, everybody else, they have their reasons, and, we got to, get behind it. And like I said, we're always here for Anthony, and I know that this organization is not giving up on him. That's one thing I do know. And, the guys aren't in that locker room aren't giving up on him either. So, it's just he's going to use this experience as a growth experience.
Buck, you think part of that is, again, the tap out, which has gotten a life of its own. What was your reaction to that?
No.
Has there been too much backlash or not?
No, he knows, we all know that's not the standard. He knows that's not the standard. He's a young player. He's going to learn from it. We all know he is. And, it happened, you know what I'm saying? And, the guys don't shame him for it or anything about, of that nature. And, he's still one of the guys. And, we're, like I said, we got his back.
How hard do you think it maybe was for Anthony to take that role so young? He was 20 when he was drafted.
Right.
It's not to say he shouldn't have been, but there are things you got to learn.
No, yeah.
And nobody really teaches you.
For
do
sure.
you think that was hard for him?
I feel like for any quarterback, it's a hard, tough situation. You know what I mean? Especially being that young. Like you said, he's 22 years old. You got guys on the team that are 30, and these are grown men, and you're expected to lead them. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of pressure, a lot of a lot to ask for from a young kid. But we all know that he's still developing into the person that we know he can be, and the player we know he can be. And for anybody to get thrown in that situation, imagine you at 22, getting thrown into a locker room with grown men. You know what I mean? Telling them like, hey, I'm your leader now. You know what I mean? Pretty much. Yeah. So, it's a growing experience. You know what I mean? And these are just one of these moments where, he's gonna learn from it.
Well, how did Sunday go for you physically?
Physically, I felt pretty good. You know what I mean? I was just happy to be back out there with my guys. Came out really good, from the game, and I'm excited to, get on some Sunday night football.
Didn't seem like you. Maybe a little bit of a pitch count. Were you surprised you played as much as you did?
No, I wasn't surprised, and I knew I was going in with a pitch count, and I was just trusting the process with the substitutions and everything, and I feel like from the training staff, from my coaches, and I feel like we all did a really good job with obviously navigating that, and kind of like easing my way back in.
With the bad high ankle sprain, you kind of have to get it back to where it's pretty much good to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is it?
Yeah, it's really like the last part of my rehab was mainly just the confidence. You know what I mean? Like, I know I'm going to feel some type of bite or pain or whatever, and that's part of it is the, you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't able to do, the high intensity and stuff like that, and go against guys, that resistance, going against O-linemen and stuff like that. So I knew I was going to feel something, you know what I mean, out there, and it was really just gaining the confidence back for me in the last part, like the last week.
Well, but the other elephant in the room, how much do you remember or try to forget 33-0?
Yeah, all the time. You know what I mean? Obviously, watching the Vikings play, that game comes to mind every time. So it's definitely a tough pill to swallow, and just watching film and everything. You obviously remember those moments, and obviously being back out there. So just when we get there, I mean, just can't get let off the gas.
Well, Shane was saying that he made the decision to change quarterbacks and they're trying to win now. Not saying we're trying to win before. Obviously, there's pressure on this situation because your quarterback is 39 now, and the future is a little bit different. So, for you, how does it maybe just change the outlook or pressurize to make good on that promise of making the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it doesn't change for me. The pressure doesn't change. I mean, when we're lining up and competing every Sunday, I mean, obviously you're competing to make the playoffs, and the ultimate goal, obviously is a Super Bowl for everybody. And then if that's not your goal every year, I mean, why are you here? You know what I mean? So, I mean, the goal is to win, each and every game. And I mean, this is the path that they thought was going to help us win the most games. So, I mean, we're focused on right now. And like I said before, I know this team, this organization is not giving up on Anthony, and I know that he's going to be prepared for his next opportunity.
Our first primetime game of the season. How excited are you to get out on that national stage?
Yeah, very excited. It's been a while since we had a nationally televised game. The only ones that are out there playing. So it's going to be a great opportunity for everybody to show everybody what we got.
You did play Minnesota 2 years ago. You mentioned it. Different quarterback this time around. Your impressions of the Vikings offense with Sam Darnold?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're a really good offense. They score a lot of points, especially early on in the game. And big props to Sam Darnold. You know what I mean? His journey throughout this league, and taking advantage of his opportunity. And he's doing a really good job with that offense. Obviously they got 18 over there. He's a beast of his own, and as a defense, we got to be on our P's and Q's.
You said the coaching staff made this decision, and it's their decision, obviously, that to move on from one quarterback to another. And I'm not saying that you're questioning it, just saying it's their decision. Like, when did you realize in your career to, for lack of a better expression, to stay in your lane and focus on your job, and that's how your role in this organization can make it?
Yeah, I learned that early on. Like right when I got in the league. Kind of just, obviously, I mean, you have no say over, obviously with the higher ups or the coaches or whoever makes those decisions on, who's starting, who's, who's not, and things like that. So, I mean, all I can do for me personally, for this team, is be the best version of myself and be the best leader I can be, obviously, and go out there each Sunday and compete my tail off. So, yeah.
Stay confident in the process when the process and the plan keeps changing throughout it?
Yeah, that's life. Like in life, you could go through ups and downs. You think you have a plan, and the good Lord above has a different plan for you. You know what I mean? And you just got to pivot and you got to adjust. So, I mean, that's what we have to do as a team.
How did Sunday feel, just physically for you?
Sunday felt good. I think I was just more overwhelmed with the feeling of finally being back out there. Of course, was a little sore after the game, first time having some action in like 3 weeks, but it just felt really good being back out there competing with the guys.
JT, were you surprised by the QB change and just your overall reaction to it?
Oh yeah, of course I was surprised, but just got to understand this is a tough business. So there's going to be a lot of adversity. Each and every single individual is going to face adversity, but at the end of the day, it's the greatest team sport. So how can we come together as a team in order to refocus in on the task at hand, which is going in and being a really good Minnesota team?
Any advice for AR?
Yeah, just let them know, listen, you got to stay the course. You got to be able to modify your routine where need be, but continue to come in and be a professional each and every single day, each and every single week, and that's going to get you far in this business.
What are the challenges that Minnesota's defense presents because of the way they like to disguise, the way they like to pressure you up front?
They got a lot of different looks. We're going to have to be on our alignment and assignment. I think that's going to be a big key for us to try to have your eyes a lot of different places and not to bring anything, super unique, but they want to test you in your protection. So we got to make sure we're on our alignment and assignment because they're going to test it.
How does that maybe play to the experience of this offense, having as many veteran guys as you do to lean on to adapt for that?
Nothing beats experience. So just being able to be with the same group of guys for a period of time, understanding, we're familiar with the looks, but just knowing, hey, we're kind of all on the same page. We know it's going to be a loud environment. Probably really going to be hard to hear. So just being able to have that experience and those reps together is going to really help us with our communication.
This marks the second half of the season, kind of kicking things off. Everything is still in front of you. How much do you guys have to take advantage of the opportunity you have at hand on Sunday night?
You must take advantage of it. There's no better opportunity. You got a Sunday night primetime game. Only game on in town. I mean, what better opportunity do you have to start the second half of the season than that?
Do you get a little bit more juice for Sunday nights?
You always do. I mean, that's what you watch growing up, Sunday, Monday night football, coming on the TV, guys saying their school. So it definitely is something special.
JC, how do you stay confident in the direction of the team when the most important position keeps changing year to year?
You just got to know that there's a lot of other pieces. That is a big piece, but there's a lot of other pieces. And I think one of our biggest thing is that we've all, like Lara just mentioned, we have all been together for some time. So being able to have that continuity going into a tough environment is going to be critical for us.
How does the run game change without Anthony next to you?
Number one, me and the offensive line and the rest of the running backs, we got to make sure we're on our P's and Q's. Running backs got to make sure we're doing a good job bringing these defenders to blocks. And we already know the offensive line is going to fight, claw, scratch, and strain every single play to make sure that they're on our guys. So we just got to make sure we're all on the same page so that we can start creasing these runs and being efficient.
Do you lose that threat without his legs next to you?
Well, of course, that's something special that he brings, but you got to also look at what Joe brings. Joe brings, elite experience. So it's two different ends of the spectrum. So we just got to find a way to figure out what puts us in the best position and how we can go out there and execute it and get the job done no matter what.
How do you describe what that Minnesota environment can be like when you go in as an opposing offense?
My first time there, it was definitely loud. You just got to understand, you got to have poise kind of for the noise. That's kind of what we say, is just being able to block out all that noise, block out the crowd, block everything out, understand what is your assignment, where do you have to be, and how do you have to execute it. Because a lot of times a hostile environment can throw guys off, so you got to stay focused.
That had to be a frustrating second half for you watching that game, right? You got knocked out of that, didn't you? The Minnesota game in 2022.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. I got knocked out.
Watching the second half, that had to be a frustrating experience for you. How do you approach that, I guess, mindset going back this time?
Oh, that was 2 years ago. You never want that to happen, but that was 2 years ago. We got to lock into this Minnesota team this year in 2024 because the 2024 Colts have to come and bring their A game.
Would it be weird to see Gilly on the other side?
Yeah. Those type players, one, I'm thankful that he was with us in the locker room, just being able to be a teammate to an all-time great like that. But it's going to be a little difficult. I'm glad I don't have to face him every single snap, so I'm sure our receivers have their work cut out for him.
What is the biggest thing you took away from sharing a locker room with him?
Really his process and his routine. Same thing every single day, every single week, every single day of the week. Whatever he had that day, he did it week after week after week. And, just kind of talking to me and saying, this is what it's like to be a true professional, is you have to don't deviate from your routine, because that's what's going to have you have longevity in the league, but also stay productive in the league.